Hey, what's up everybody? Jake here and welcome to the hobby. Today we are going to be counting down the top 10 most expensive alternate art Pokemon cards. Alternate art cards are by far the current most popular Pokemon cards in the hobby. That's what the data is showing. Alternate art cards are most commonly the chase cards inside of every single modern Pokemon card set, and they retain a lot of their value just because of how tremendous the demand for these cards are. So I'm going to be counting down the top 10 most expensive ones, and hopefully you can find a trend inside of this list. So let's start right away. Kicking off the list at number 10, we have the Blaziken VMAX from Chilling Reign, which is currently going for right around $95. Blaziken is one of the very few starter Pokemon that has gone an alternate artwork, and it's a really cool one. Blaziken VMAX can be seen training with the Inteleon lineup with Sobble and Drizzile in the background as well. I think this is a super cool card and it's well deserving of a spot on this list. In number 9th place, we have the Gengar VMAX from Fusion Strike. This is a really aesthetically interesting card. It's very different from a lot of the other alternate art pieces pretty much. They're all very unique in their stylized form, and I really appreciate that every artist was able to put their own interpretation on how they want to really create the card art. And the Gengar VMAX one is just really interesting. There are a ton of Gengar fans out there, and I can understand why. Gengar has a very unique aesthetic design that most other Pokemon just doesn't compare to. It's almost creepy and at the same time entertaining and funny and interesting. So there's all these elements inside of these Gengar cards, and the Gengar VMAX alternate art is a very desirable one, going for $98 right now per card. Barely inching out the Blaziken VMAX, but we're going to start getting into some high dollars very soon. In 8th place, we have the Sylveon VMAX from Evolving Skies, the first but not the last card from Evolving Skies that is going to be on this list. This alternate art is currently going for $105, and it's personally one of my favorite alternate art. I just love the design of it. There's so much detail in the card art. There's just so much going on. You can stare at this card for an hour and still find new details. There's all these little elements of Pokemon using Sylveon as a slide and all kinds of other elements happening inside of the art. It's like a whole entire amusement park inside of a single card. It's super interesting. I'm a huge fan of it. And we're moving on to 7th place, which is the Espeon VMAX one. Once again, I think really underrated. I'm actually surprised that Espeon is so low. Espeon VMAX is currently going for $108, and it is from Fusion Strike. It is actually the chase card from Fusion Strike. It is a really cool artwork. I love the design of Espeon just lazily lounging on these rooftops. It's a gargantuan piece. I just love the design of it because it really shows you the size of these Pokemon once they become their Gigantamax or Dynamax form. They're just massive. So I really appreciate it. I think this is a super cool art piece and really underrated because I think Espeon is actually one of the most popular evolution cards. So I'm actually surprised to see Espeon so low here compared to the duo, which is Umbreon, which is even higher on the list. Spoiler alert. We got ourselves Glaceon in 6th place. Glaceon VMAX is currently going for around $110, and this is another card from Evolving Skies. I really like this card as well because every single one of these alternate art just showcases so much about the Pokemon aesthetically, the theming. They're all fitting so well, and in this artwork you can see Glaceon VMAX just ice skating with all of these other Pokemon, and it's a really cool snowy kind of holiday feeling. And every single one of these alternate art cards are just so gosh darn gorgeous. I completely understand the price points. They're all very expensive because the demand for these cards are so high. They really are little pieces of artwork. You can very easily frame these cards on your wall and it'll look fantastic. It'll look great in your office. It'll look great in your gaming room. people will ask questions about it, but I think they'll be appreciative. These cards are just really, really fantastic art pieces, great designs, and great little collectible items, so I can see why there's just so much demand for them. Glaceon VMAX, 6th place, so we're moving on to our top 5. In 5th place, barely beating out Glaceon, we have the Leafeon VMAX, also from Evolving Skies, currently going for $116. This one is also really interesting. Leafeon is massive, and it's just rolling around these bags or rolls full of grass. I just think it's a really cool design, very different from all these other art pieces, but they all showcases the natural sort of elements that the evolutions are in, with Glaceon just being Winter Wonderland, and here we have Leafeon just in fields and fields of nature and earth and grass and wheat and so much inside of the art. All these artworks, like I said, really cool art designs. So up we have a little bit of something different, so I kind of appreciate the break. We have in 4th place the Charizard V alternate art from Brilliant Stars, which is currently going for around $200. It's still dipping because Brilliant Stars is the latest Pokemon card set. A lot of people are opening up Brilliant Stars cards. I expect a lot more Charizard V cards to go onto the open market, but however else, I don't think it's gonna dip enough for it to go below the Leafeon, which is at $116. So what do I think of this art? I like it. It's a little bit different from the other one. There's a lot going on inside of the Charizard V artwork. It's an action scene. It is a scene between a battle between Charizard and Venusaur, which is a classic matchup. You see it on all kinds of different arts just because it's the classic Fire Red versus Leaf Green, and it's a super cool design. I don't love the action because Charizard isn't in the main focus of the card. You're sort of looking at Charizard's back and Charizard's butt, which is always humorous when it's drawn from that angle. I think they could have done something a little bit different for this artwork. We never got a Charizard VMAX alternate art card. If we ever got that card, if it ever came out, I think it would break all the records for alternate art cards. So it'll be really interesting when that card ever comes out, if the Pokemon company ever even thinks about printing it. I hope I'm not giving them ideas because it's going to create another massive hype train. But we're moving on to the top 3 cards that are the most expensive alternate arts. In 3rd place, we have the Rayquaza VMAX from Evolving Skies again, going for $210. The Evolving Skies lineup is just really, really ridiculous. And once again, here we have another one, Rayquaza VMAX, going for over $200. A lot of Evolving Skies cards took quite a dip after their release, but since then, a lot of the cards have just made a massive resurgence, and Rayquaza is one of them. Rayquaza is a super popular legendary, easily top 3 most popular legendary. Some of the other more popular ones would be like Lugia and Mewtwo, but Rayquaza has always been a super popular legendary, and this artwork really showcases the design of Rayquaza just as a super cool, edgy Pokemon. There are a ton of Rayquaza collectors out there, and this is an easy must-have Rayquaza card for their collection. There's a couple of cool Rayquaza cards out there, some shiny versions of Rayquaza, but as far as Rayquaza cards go, this one is a display item. And I think that's what a lot of collectors are being drawn into these alternate art cards by, is that their displayability. These cards are really easy to display. They're all little pieces of art. They're great frame, graded. They look fantastic however you want to do it. So there's a bunch of reasons why people are collecting these cards. These are not binder pieces. I don't think the way you should go with these cards is to have them in a binder where the pages are constantly turning. I think these cards should be front and center, hanging somewhere on your wall so that people can walk by and very easily spot these cards. Moving on to 2nd place. In 2nd place, we have the Latias and Latios Tag Team GX card. This is the only GX card, the only tag team alternate art card on this list, which, I'll be honest, I think that's a bit criminal considering how old the Tag Team GX cards are, and they continue to be some of the more desirable ones, but only the Latias and Latios cracked the top 10 list. Latias and Latios is going for $240. It's a great card from Team Up, which is a pretty old set. A booster box of Team Up is going for anywhere from $800 to $1,000 nowadays, so you're unlikely to ever crack open a Team Up booster box just to pick yourself up this card. You're probably likely to pick it up on the secondary market, more likely. It's a cool card. I love it. It's one of my personal favorite. I have one copy hanging on the background there for you guys to see. All the alternate art cards are really good. All of the Tag Team GX alternate art cards, this one was by far the best one. It's just a really heartwarming design. It's a very easy card to give to someone as a present to showcase that you really appreciate them. It's a get well soon card for a fellow Pokemon card collector out there that might be going through a rough patch. There's a bunch of reasons why you should collect this card. It's a great piece, and I always have a smile on my face when I'm looking at it, so I completely understand the price point. It's an older card, it's a highly in demand card, lots of people want it. Even if you pick up a slightly less than perfect quality copy, I think it's still a great pickup. Even a slightly damaged version of this card will look great on display. Moving on to the number one place spot on this list. If you have been counting, you probably know what it is. It is the Umbreon VMAX from Evolving Skies, which is currently going for upwards of $300 for a single copy. Just a couple months ago, they were going for $150. There's been just a huge resurgence of demand because I think a lot of people really wanted all these alternate art cards, especially the ones from Evolving Skies. If you did the math, then there's 5 Evolving Skies alternate art cards on this top 10 list. They take up half the number of spots. Evolving Skies has so many alternate art cards. It's a crazy set, and it's really interesting to see the resurgence in popularity, because I think a lot of people were simply waiting. They were simply waiting for prices for these alternate art cards to drop down to a reasonable enough point, or the lowest point that they'll go, before they pick it up. And now that Evolving Skies is not dropping anymore in price, people have to pick these up because they're only going to get more expensive. However, I would caution against that, because the honest truth is Evolving Skies is still a brand new set, and it's going to be in standard constructive TCG play for the next 2 years. It's not going anywhere. So if the prices for Evolving Skies booster boxes start climbing to $200, $300 over the next couple of months or year, the Pokemon Company is very likely to put Evolving Skies very high on their reprint list. So if you're collecting these cards, you're really collecting them because you appreciate the artwork and you're enjoying the collectability of them long term, because in terms of investment, I think they're super risky right now, because over the course of the next 2 years, there's probably going to be another Evolving Skies reprint. Maybe there'll be 2. They did reprint many sets over the last couple of years, and Evolving Skies, I have to imagine, is super high on the list. If you look at it, just for Evolving Skies in this top 10 list, it's going to cost you $840 to pick up all of these Evolving Skies cards. So that's ridiculous for just 5 cards. And if you're someone that's collecting one, you're probably going to be collecting most, if not all of them, because if you're collecting the Evolution alternate art cards, you kind of have to have all of them. You could collect just one. It's going to look kind of weird, but you can do that. I think most collectors are going to want to collect the whole entire set. If you're collecting the whole entire set, you're easily spending upwards of over $1,000. So it's really crazy how the demand for these cards are. It makes total sense for the price climb for Evolving Skies booster boxes. So this has been mainly my insight onto these cards. I can see why the Evolving Skies alternate art cards are some of the more popular ones. They're really resonating with just a lot of collectors, me included. I think they're all really cool. So yeah, hope this list has been interesting. I hope it's been insightful. And if you are in the market, I would say pick up an Evolving Skies booster box. I think it's totally fine to hold on to a copy long term. If you consider the risk that it could be reprinted over the next 2 years, $150 is a fine price. If you were to pick up an Evolving Skies booster box, if it ever gets reprinted on the Pokemon Center website, they'll probably go for $150. So you're really not risking that much at picking one up for $150. However, as prices go past $150, I think the risk gets significantly outweighed by the reward. So that's pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and let me know if you're into alternate art cards or not, because I love to hear your guys' comment. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time.